Alright, so how's it going, guys? This is KSP2. We are going to be building a massive space station today, as you already know by the title. We're here in the VAB and we're getting started on the assembly of the main hub. This is going to be the central part that all the other parts hook up to. I tried to use a lot of the big stuff that's new to KSP2. I don't know if they had some of this bigger stuff in like a modded version, some mods in KSP1. But yeah, so we're moving right along here. I got this video sped up so it's not too gruelingly long. It's this crew capacity on this ends up being pretty wild. It varies by about 30 or 40, whether you include the crew capacity of the gravity ring, which I guess you would, so it's probably over 50 that this thing ends up holding. I tried to launch it full, but I was having so many glitches and bugs with this launch that I just decided to... I was eliminating every factor that I thought could be causing any glitches, any lag, anything like that, because anybody who's played KSP2 knows that it's full of it. I have been, I guess, enjoying the game. It's frustrating, definitely. I've lost saves, dealing with bugs and glitches, constantly quick saving and quick loading. Sometimes it's like, it just doesn't save. I feel like it might have something to do with like just a general corrupt save, so you basically have to just revert back to a previous version where it did work. And then I've also had success with it runs better if you just start a complete new save file. So it seems like the further along in a save file you get, the more unstable KSP2 becomes. The ex-technical director just got laid off today from the team. Nobody really has the insider knowledge as to whether he was... So, to get back to the video, this is the first attempt and it didn't really pan out so well, so I had to change the engines up here. And I was able to get lift, as you can see, but it wasn't exactly stable. Wow. That's something. So, we go back to the VAB for some more tweaks. But anyways, like I was saying, back to the technical director. He said even after, being laid off, he said he has faith in the team and that he does believe KSP2 will be everything that we want it to be. I think that's a pretty much direct quote of what he said. So that's good. That gives me a little bit of faith. We finally have a stable working rocket here. I love the sound of those engines. That's one thing they did get right, is the sound in that engine plume. It is fake engine plume. I saw on a KSP subreddit, somebody made, they launched something that shouldn't have had that plume, and it did. just went ahead and sped things up here again, just get things moving along. This video ends up being super long already. We got Bob flying today. It's probably a bad choice. He's not the brightest of the original four. But nonetheless, we get into orbit here. Those ugly trusses that I got with all the struts attached. That works. I've used that before, and that will really stiffen up a wobbly rocket. And I actually attach the trusses with decouplers, so you'll see you can just lose it, and it'll be like you never had them. And the struts go with them automatically. You don't have to put the struts on decouplers. They will just automatically unattach whenever you do decouple. So to start this out, I think I bring my orbit around 75 or 80. That's what I normally go for. And then I go for that from there. Looks like I went out to 90 this time, but we're going out to 150 kilometers, so it doesn't really matter. I overshot a little bit. Probably have a little too much delta V. We could have got this done with much less, but once again, KSP2, I don't really trust the delta V numbers they give you because they do change, and I don't know exactly how they're calculated in the VAB. It would be cool if they could calculate like vacuum, but they can't because it depends on how long you are in. Not every launch is going to be the same, so they could maybe give you an estimate based on an optical or an optimal launch, like trajectory. Now how you burn straight up and then you start to turn, you know. There's an optical angle for that, and they could base it off that, but you're almost never going to hit that optimal angle. I don't know why I keep saying optical. But here we are in orbit. We're going to go ahead and decouple those trusses, and as you see, it's basically like they were never there. Ah, she's beautiful. So we are back in the VAB, and we are going to be assembling the panel arms truss system, however you would want to call that. But yeah, I basically just, it's a little flight pod thing that I have a truss coming off of and put some large solar panels on, and then build a rocket on the bottom of it and launch it. There were a few launches of this as well. This was kind of a little bit of a challenge, even though it's not super basic, you know, there's nothing to it. Super simple little rocket. It's just solar panels. So we're not going to spend too much time on this. This was a pretty quick build. I don't think this one was too wobbly. It was just oh yeah, so the main problem with this was, for whatever reason, I would just lose complete control. I would have throttle control, but not pitch, yaw, or anything like that, or no SAS. I couldn't. It would just shoot straight up in the air. I could control throttle, but that was it. So that was a pain. Really hoping for an update soon. They have released the fixes that are on the update, and you can look into that, and you could probably find that on the subreddit or maybe YouTube video or something. But it seems like it's going to be a decent, nothing on the roadmap, but just like a stability, which honestly is all they need to be working on right now. I do have faith, but this is pretty rough. I don't even know why I'm playing it. It's bad. But we're here launching the panel arm. And this actually goes pretty good. I end up launching 2 of these. So I think I skipped the second launch for at least majority of it. Just once again to keep things moving. Ended up being a half-hour video, which I really didn't anticipate. I don't know why I wouldn't, but it took quite a bit longer than that to shoot it. Once again, we have an abundant amount of Delta V. And we are just going to circularize here. And we have to work on our rendezvous. I love the control of this too. You can whip it around. I think the final launch of the gravity ring, like the nose part of it, you'll see the build later. It was quite a bit harder to control. Some adjustments. It's practically a collision course. We are coming up on our rendezvous here. I think this one went pretty well. I had to redo this a few times because the Kraken kept getting me. I don't know why. Just all of a sudden it would just start wiggling. I tried disabling the SAS wheels on this, on all like the outer arms, just thinking that it was trying to correct from out there and it was wobbling at the joints, but that wasn't it. I basically had to load to it, and then whenever I got to it, I had to immediately time warp to kill any movement it had in it, which worked. That was pretty effective, but it was annoying. And I lost a few saves to that, and there was one time where it happened when I was pulling up on it after a rendezvous of the final piece, so that was fun. The docking is almost easier in this. It's, once again, it's a little unreliable, but it is almost a little easier in this. I stole the Matt Lown lazy method, or whatever he calls it. Yeah, we're just going to dock this. Bring it in nice and slow. Probably could have went a little faster, but you know, better safe than sorry. 1,800 remaining Delta V that we're just going to dump. I should have put some sort of probe on these on those rockets just so I could deorbit them, but I was trying to go for as simple as possible, just to avoid any potential anything that could cause a failure. I was trying to eliminate it. I did think there was more than just Bob in this. It might just not be showing him. Would probably have to click down. Display the rest of the Kerbals. Here we are launching the second arm, and like I said, I'm just gonna show a little bit of the launch here. Look at that rocket glow. Then I am going to skip to the rendezvous here. Here we are. Go ahead and line this up. This thing. I think there are docking ports at the end of those trusses, but I also have plenty of docking ports coming off the sides of the main hub, and I can't remember. I think I do have one coming off of the nose, and on the back there, that's actually a medium docking hub. Although I might have put it on upside down. As hilarious as that sounds. So it might not even be usable. I would have to launch something and check though, because I've actually never used a medium docking port. I don't know, I can't tell. I really don't know which. If you saw it and you could tell me if that was the right side or the wrong side, leave it in the comments. But yeah, as you can see, I can still hook up to plenty of docking ports on this thing, and then I could even add a part if I needed more hubs, but I doubt I will, and I don't think I'm going to keep this save file. I almost hope the new update is just almost a complete rebuild to where we can't even keep these save files, because I don't see how they could go from this to stable off of this build. And like I said, I hope the ex-technical director of KSP2 is right, and this game ends up being all that we hope it to be. Oh, well, I got the angle on those a little off, but I think I'm just gonna go with it. The initial build, I didn't have the solar panels far enough apart, so when they would rotate that, they would clip a little bit, and that was making them all break, which was horrible because I had a few launches where I launched the panels, then wanted to launch this that I'm building now, which is like the gravity ring, I guess you would call it. And right when I was pulling up on it, it wiggled itself in the crack and got it. So that was fun. I had a little trouble getting this thing exactly perfectly. I should have moved in right there and left it. and it would have been perfect. But I added that one, and I think that ended up being the mistake. Ends up being just like a tiny bit squarish. It's not bad though. It does look pretty good. Also kind of limited on parts. We're used to KSP2 with I had the procedural parts mod, and that was a great mod. You had procedural structural parts. There are some procedural parts in this, like I love the procedural wings. That's great. This is also the, I guess, relay antenna part of the space station. But I actually already have a satellite network, a geostationary satellite network, which I cover in another video. You can go check that out. It's on my channel. So that is kind of not really necessary. I think they're definitely more powerful than this is going to be. But I don't think I could build a space station not put any antennas on it. It just looks better. Just gonna throw some solid fuel boosters on here. Once again, I was having some problems just with stability. Just went the blunt force route and threw more boosters on it. I think this ended up being a little tighter on Delta V as well, just because this was a little rough to control. This took a few launches. I cut them out. I didn't really feel the need to show every failed launch. But this is how it ended up, and it's pretty stable. I actually don't think there's much wiggle to this, despite how you would think it would be with like the construction of that ring. I do have quite a bit of struts on it, and the struts are hooked up to decouplers, so I can ditch the struts. It's weird how the struts work. They'll decouple themselves if they are attached, spanning two parts that you decouple, if you follow what I'm trying to say. So the bottoms will decouple on their own because I think, maybe not, but I do lose those struts. Those struts go away. And that was a beautiful staging there. Not like the main part where there was a little bit of collision. This was not quite as fast to control. The only reason it looks so fast there is just because of the video sped up 5 times. But I was a little worried that it was going to be rough docking this thing, just because I wouldn't be able to flip around and burn retrograde on the approach, and you know, it's almost better to stay about 100 meters out and then just use time warp instead of speed to get there in a timely manner. You wanna kind of play it a little safe when you're docking. So who do we got flying here? Darpond Kerman in the cockpit here. We're just going to time warp to our rendezvous. Line this up. And I think it takes me a little while actually to get this rendezvous, because once again, I was having trouble flipping this thing around in a timely manner to really nail that approach. But we do get it. For this launch, I messed up and I didn't have my mic muted as I was filming this, so there's a little bit of audio in the background. I apologize for. So I fat fingered it there and kind of burned a little much, but nothing a time warp can't fix. And I think this is where I finally go for it. Sometimes you just gotta go for it, you know. I think under 10,000 is decent. You try to shoot for under 5,000 meters of separation, but you can do it under 10. I'd say your relative speed is probably more important than distance. You could be super close, have a super close intersection point, but if your relative speed is too high, there's just you're not going to be able to do anything about it. Okay, and I think this is where we finally get it here. That's another problem with KSP2 is it doesn't display. You have to like click out of the maneuver to pan over the intersection to get it to display information about the intersection. It won't do it while you're like adjusting the maneuver node, if you know what I'm saying. So I just set that maneuver. I usually do sometimes when I'm having trouble flipping around like I am with this, just because it gives me a time limit. Oh, and I guess I deleted it. Crazy how the inclination ended up being like almost dead on. Makes sense, you know, I shoot for the same inclination, but it's rare that it really happens so well. So I don't know if this is how everybody does it, but how I do it is I basically burn to that closest intersection, and then I wait until I'm at the closest intersection, and then I burn off all my speed, relative speed, and then I burn towards the target until I get an approach, you know, within a couple 100 meters. Once again, wait till the target, you're at the intersection, kill off your speed again. And then point towards target. I really don't like how you can't rename vessels. At least there's no way I've seen that you can in KSP2. It's not a big deal, but you know, it's what the heck kind of name is Combined 28 for the Kerbal Space Station. Should be KSS. And we're just going to time warp. I probably should have came in a little faster than that. The problem is you get too far off unless you're like almost perfect, where you kind of just want to get it done in a timely manner. You can't drag it out too long because you'll end up getting too far apart. But yeah, here we go. We're on our final push towards the space station here. And I am really happy at this point. Like I said, it was a hard fought battle. I might go back to KSP1 for a little while after this. This is funny. I had a little bit of problem stocking this after saying that it's easier in this. There we go. But I don't know why. I feel like I was quite a ways away from that when it finally did. So there's the final build, pretty much how it's going to be. Just got to extend the solar panels, turn the lights on. I went ahead and decoupled those struts there. And I'm going to go ahead and flip on these lights, extend the solar panels. The squarish ring. Took a while to turn all these lights on, so I'm just gonna skip that for you. There we go. And we have our lights on. It did turn out nice. I do like it. Yeah, there's definitely a few more Kerbals in here than just one. I forgot to scroll down and find out how many, but like I said, there's probably around 50. But anyways, that's pretty much it. There she is. I'm probably going to ditch this save file. I might shoot another video on it and try to get it populated. Maybe make a video of shooting 50 Kerbals in space at once. But we'll see. So for now, that is all. If you liked this video, please leave a like. And if you're not subscribed, I would really appreciate a subscribe. All right, well, thanks, guys.